Chris Eubank.
He was a warrior, wasn't he, Chris?
Oh.
He was a warrior indeed. I told Nigel last week that we shouldn't be fighting at this age, you know? First time I ever met Tyson Fury come out of a hotel room in a pair of boxer shorts going, "Hello, man, I'll be 2 minutes." 6'8" Tyson Fury. I'm like, all right, mate. If I'm going to go on a plane tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Steve. He plays the pilot game on Microsoft. He's got 750,000 TikTok followers. He'll be flying you today. You'll be like, "Can I have Derek, please? Can I have Derek, who's done his 10,000 hours?" Oh, it's only fair.
Yeah.
It's only fair. No, and I've always been very open about my mental health struggles, that it got to a place where it was really spiraling out of control. Once I got to a point, I was just like, I'm unhealthy. Like, this isn't good. Heading towards 40, I've got 2 kids, a wife. John Candy, do you remember John Candy, Uncle Buck?
Yeah.
He bowed out at 42. I'm like, I'm 5 years off of that. And I'm like, wow, I don't want to be that.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the support so far on this project. It means the absolute world to us.
However, we've noticed that around 75% of you who listen and watch the show haven't yet hit the subscribe or like button.
So in order for this community to grow and allow us to build this project, we have a small request from you.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app that you're listening or watching this show. Your commitment... What were you laughing at? I did a really good job, didn't I? Right, do another one. Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're watching or listening this show. Listening this show.
Remember to smile.
I'm always smiling.
You weren't.
Was I not? Stop it. Kelly's fucking waiting for us
Come on.
outside, bro.
Composed. Right, let's do it.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're listening to or watching this fucking show. Right, come on, just one more. Please hit the subscribe or like button. Your commitment is our commitment.
Let's do this.
Fuck off, come on, more.
Yeah, I'm not going to cheeseball it up, but I'll go, let's do this.
That'll do. Mic check. Madge, how you doing, lad?
I'm good, mate. Nice to be. It's very Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
What we're going for with this studio, I mean, we didn't really have a choice with the curtains, did we? We actually had a choice to put a screen up and put like logos and shit on. We were like, no, keep it Moulin.
Keep it Moulin.
Keep it Moulin.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know the last time I saw you, I was actually in a bit of a bad place. Actually, I was a bit worse for wear. I was in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And I was with Elliot. Elliot, and we were recording. He won't mind us saying this because it never came out in the end. We were recording a music video for our track, Another 24. So we had this videographer follow us around Ibiza for like the whole day. The song's about another 24, like crack on, another 24 hours, like, you know, it won't hurt you, sort of thing. So he was following us around and I was just fucking on one all day. And I remember seeing Madge came into this restaurant we were in and I was just like, oh, please don't talk to me, please don't talk to me. So I was just so, I've been out all day and all night.
No
I actually
way.
done the lyrics, yeah. And that was about 2019.
You kept it real. You did the lyrics.
No.
I like it.
But yeah, how's things, man? You're a busy man at the moment.
Yeah.
I've been keeping an eye on this new project, which I'd like to get into.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and I can't keep up with the amount of stuff you got going on.
Yeah, I spin a lot of plates.
Yeah, you do. We talk about plate spinning a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
What are those for you? You got Talk Sport?
Yeah, so I've got radio now. I do Friday night and Saturday night on Kiss from 7 till 9.
Yep.
I now do a Kiss dance show because we've got a new digital station called Kiss Dance.
Yeah.
I do that Monday to Friday, 4 till 7.
Live?
It's not live. I do pre-recorded links, so it's not too time-consuming, but still, it's a daily commitment.
Yeah.
And then TalkSport every Sunday, 6:30 till 9 with Alan Pardew, which is good fun. And then obviously the sort of DJing side of things, where, you know, playing out not as much as I used to. I try and pick and be a bit more selective now. But, you know, I'm DJing the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next weekend. Then I'm back in Riyadh because obviously I do a lot with the boxing.
Boxing, yes, saw that. How did that come about? When
that came about due to linking up with Tyson Fury when he first got back in the ring after his absence for 2 years.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it's so mad how things are meant to be sometimes. So a good friend of mine, DJ Slips, RIP Slips, passed away. He was a legend from Pirate Radio. Was on there when we were kids. I grew up with him. And it was one of those moments that brought a lot of us back together. So when I used to do pirate radio, I was on a station called Sub Jam in North London, 104.7, and the guys that used to run it, John and Gary, I was their like little right-hand man from very early, like 17. And Slips was part of our station. He was a massive part of it. So when he passed away, the funeral was obviously mobbed out of all of our original people. So we go to the funeral, we have a great day celebrating his life, and then Gary takes me back home. He goes, "Oh, do you want to lift?" Because we both live sort of Hertfordshire ways now. Just got talking in the van. He goes, "Oh, I was meant to ask you, Madge." He goes, "My mate Ben, who's a boxing coach, he's coaching Tyson Fury." I said, "Tyson Fury's like 28 stone now. You're coaching him." "Yeah, you're getting back in the ring." I was like, "Oh, wow." He goes, and they wanted to do like something special for his ring walk to come back to. And so Ben asked me, did I know anyone musical? So I was going to see if you wanted to speak to him. Ended up speaking to Ben Davidson and went up to Manchester to their camp, met Tyson and Ben. First time I ever met Tyson Fury, come out of a hotel room in a pair of boxer shorts, oddballs boxer shorts, going, "Hello, man, I'll be 2 minutes." 6'8" Tyson Fury. I'm like, "All right, mate." And then I started working with him. His first ever ring walk back was, I mashed up something like, I think, Carmina Burama by Carl Orff into Guess Who's Back Again, sampled Eminem, into Don't Call It a Comeback, LL Cool J, and then mixed, it was like a mad mashup. And then I re-vocaled Afro Man's Because I Got High. Because obviously he got banned, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I was like, I was going to get in the ring until I got high. So yeah, he just wanted to take them in. And ever since then, I was working with Tyson and doing all of his ring walks. So since he's come back, I've done every ring walk he's done, even the Wilder fights, up until like when he fought Dillian White at Wembley, which was a couple of years ago now, he goes to me, he rings me and go, "Madge, I'm thinking I want Kings of Leon into Biggie Smalls." And I'm like, okay, different genres, different tempos, different keys, we'll give it a go, right? So getting there, making these edits for him for his ring walks. The one at Wembley was just incredible. And even the bits before I do the voice, I was like, "The Gypsy King and his fellow men travelled the land and sea," like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we did Wembley together, and I DJ'd that night at Wembley. And ever since then, Queensbury, Frank Warren's promotions company, like, "Can you DJ all of our big shows?" Because that was amazing. I was like, yeah, but
wow.
I'm not like just any guy. Like, he's going to cost you. He's like, no problem. So I was like, yeah. So since then, I've been doing all the re-ads. It's been amazing, especially as a boxing fan.
Yeah, and I've seen that one that I really liked was the AJ one, AJ's Connected. Bang, that one.
Yeah. With that was, again, that was so random. I bumped into Lethal Bizzle in the hotel in Riyadh. I went, "Biz, I've got my recording stuff upstairs. Do you want to do a dub for AJ?" He's like, "All right, cool." So I brought kind of like dub play culture into boxing, which is really funny, because when Big Bang Zhang fought who was he fighting? After Parker, he fought Wilder. And I got Funky D who went, "Oi, are you going to bang?" Right? Because Big Bang Zhang. So it's like, "Oi, Zhang, are you going to bang?" He loved it. The kids don't speak a word of English. He's like to me, "Oh." I was like, yeah, brilliant. So the boxing stuff's been going really, and it's just, as I said, I'm a boxing fan.
That's perfect, man.
So I'm being paid to go and watch. Literally, where the decks are, like, I can just see the ring over there, and I'm just watching these fights. We go out there. I now doing the Project 365 thing, which we'll talk about in a moment. Yeah. I'm training with the big security guards, so I get proper training out there. It's like being in a boxing camp. I eat well, train well, get paid to play music. It's great. Yeah,
that's amazing. I remember seeing the video of you DJing, and then the decks are here, and then you've got AJ just walk straight behind you and straight past you. And you get that every time you play.
Mate, the craziest one was when I was playing some tunes and Mike Tyson walked past, bopping to him, and gave me a little sort of thumbs up.
Did he?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
That was the first Riyadh. So the first Riyadh they did, they had everyone out there. Literally, it was just celeb after celeb. Yeah. Like I met the Undertaker, which was amazing.
Oh wow, what's he like? Big.
Yeah, he's big. Lad. I couldn't get a photo because he was being quick, but he shook my hand. So yeah, and it's just been an incredible journey, and I'm very privileged and blessed to be on it. And just what I like about it is I'm a big WWE fan. And I've always loved boxing, but the drama and the show business of WWE is what sold it all these years. Like growing up, I'm 37 now. The Attitude Era, Stone Cold, The Rock, all of these characters. Bringing that a bit into boxing is making it entertaining. And the other thing is as well, whether you're a boxing purist or not, with the likes of Jake Paul fighting and all the KSIs, they're doing numbers. Because the kids want to see them. Yeah. So bringing this sort of entertainment value into boxing and making stories out of it. Even when we do the press conferences, like I'll play a record. The first time Eddie Hearn was in Riyadh, and of course, his son of Barry Hearn. So there's almost that sort of Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon comparison with him and Barry.
Of course, yeah.
So when he walked out at Riyadh, he didn't know he was going to do this. I played Here Comes the Money, the Shane O'Mac theme tune. And he walks out and he's cracking up, like laughing, which was brilliant. And the guys from Queensbury were like, oh, don't do that, because they're thinking he's going to upstage Frank. I said, don't worry, I've got Frank's back. So Frank come out and I played James Brown, paid the cost to be the boss, and he walks out in his suit. So it's just kind of this soundtrack to boxing now, which they didn't have before, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that WWE narrative, it's all about the narrative. They create the hype through the stories and the rivalry, and that's what sells WWE. That's why I used to love it, because you have these characters. It's the characters, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that Jake Paul does really well. Everyone wants, again, I'm not massively into boxing, but it's why Mayweather did very well, because everyone wanted to see Mayweather get knocked out. Am I right?
Yeah, the characters.
He's yeah.
And that's why obviously him in the McGregor fight was so big, and that was not the start, but it was already bubbling then, but that was one of the big ones. And then the Jake Paul and Tyson. But it's funny that Madge's saying that, because I was talking to my mate literally this week up in Manchester, because I'm a big boxing fan.
This episode is powered by Tenzing, the all-natural energy drink made with plants, not a science lab. It's clean, sustainable energy made with none of that dodgy stuff you find in other energy drinks. Now let me tell you what happened when I got a delivery of their new flavour, Fiery Mango. Big crate arrives, I am buzzing, thinking I've got a load of cans to see me through the winter. I open it, one can. Turns out my wife nicked the rest. To be fair, I can't blame her. The Fiery Mango is banging. Juicy mango with a fiery kick of ginger and cayenne pepper. Basically sunshine in a can. And it's not just about the taste. 100% of your daily vitamin D, magnesium for vitamin D absorption, lion's mane for mood and focus, and 160 milligrams of caffeine to power you through the crash. So whether you're working, at the gym, or just surviving that 3 p.m. slump, Tenzing Fiery Mango has you covered. And listeners of this show get 30% off. Just head to tenzingnaturalenergy.com and use the code BEAR30. That's BEAR30 for 30% off. Fire up your winter with Tenzing Fiery Mango. But seriously, hide your stash.
I grew up watching Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, Steve Collins.
He was the warrior, wasn't he, Chris? He was a warrior indeed. You know, I told Nigel last week that we shouldn't be fighting at this age, you know. Chris is amazing.
That is absolutely
I don't want to fight you, Chris. There's no more bad blood between us. There's no more bad blood, Chris. You're a warrior, I'm a warrior. Let's just leave it now. Son shouldn't be fighting either.
Soundbite.
That's a round of applause, mate.
But
wow.
Those fights there, I always say to anyone who first gets into boxing, you know, go watch them. Here's a few fights to watch, you know, like, you know, back in the day, Ali's and Fraser's, and then, you know, the Eubanks and the Benns, and, you know, even to the early days of Mike Tyson, seeing what he was up to when he was like 18, 19. Crazy.
Destroying it. And that WWF, WWE now, like I grew up with Ultimate Warrior, Heart Foundation, Hulk Hogan. And we were saying that boxing, and it's funny how you've put your take on it there, Madge, with what you're doing and what's going on. And you're right, it is bringing, because boxing since UFC did start to lose a bit of the entertainment value. And I think this kind of thing, it is bringing the fun back into boxing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the heavyweight division, especially with the Klitschko's being dominated for so many years, the fact the brothers were never going to fight, you know, that was always something you're never going to see. They were just, again, very straight-laced people. The press conferences, never disrespectful. So that's why Tyson is obviously, the fact he's a great boxer, but he brings so much entertainment value.
He's a top guy, and is that where, you know, going back to the 365, and I heard the voice note that Jacky's got that you sent the other day, Madge, where you couldn't make the first episode, and I was like, that's just class. That.
Well, let's preface it so people know what we're talking about.
You go for it.
So Madge was supposed to be in here last week, and something came up, you know, life happens, right? And he dropped me a voice note, very genuine, very apologetic, saying, I'm sorry I can't make it in, but this Project 365 is a non-negotiable, and it's either I come to do the podcast or I train, and I'm going to have to choose training. And I sent it to Pete, and Pete was like, well, that's fucking perfect. We'll talk about that, because it's just showing your dedication. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about Project 365. What is it, and what are you doing?
So Project 365 is something that I was planning to do all through the summer, because, you know, over the years, touring relentlessly and trying to get somewhere. You know, like in our world, it's just one thing after another. You're always trying the next thing. I've had this, I've done this, and it's never enough. It just never is enough. It doesn't matter what you do. It's like,
what do you mean by that?
It's like, for example, you think, right, once I do this and I get this big record, then all of a sudden it's easy. Like I'm there, I've made it. And you're thinking, you know, back in 21, I had the Boney M Rasputin thing.
Yeah.
The record's done almost 700 million streams on Spotify. Like, it's platinum in 14 countries, gold in 9. You know, it's insane what it's done. And you think, once you're there, right, I'm in now. I don't have to worry about a plugger getting my tune to the radio, whether or not this guy likes it or that woman likes it. You know, you think, no, it's still the same. And then it's like, oh, okay, if I do this strategically this summer, then next summer they might look at me in a different way. It's like, no, it's just, I'm just like, oh my God, it's just one thing after another. And I'm like, I'm in this process of just being relentless 24/7 with my career and everything I'm doing, and I'm not looking after myself. And now I don't take drugs. I never have. I don't have a little spliff now and then. Do you know what I mean? I don't really see it as a drug. But like growing up, like I've never even, people can't believe it when you're a DJ, especially. Like, I've never done a line of coke ever. Like,
not?
Never.
That surprises me.
Yeah. And
just because I know what it's like.
yeah, of course, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You know, it's just, it's part and parcel, isn't it? It's almost like you're on the road. Well, that's what happens. So I've always been like, well, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. Like, I used to drink when I was younger. Occasionally, if we're in Ibiza, I'll have a, you know, strawberry daiquiri at Mambo's because they're so nice.
Yeah.
But it's like, so I've got all these things going. So I'm like, okay, so I'm fine. But, you know, I'm become very overweight. I put on a lot of weight over the years, and I grew up athletic, playing football 4 to 5 times a week, playing with the school, club, etc. Still playing when I'm a bit older, you know. And so once I got to a point, I was just like, I'm unhealthy. Like, this isn't good. I'm heading towards 40. I've got 2 kids, a wife. I've got so much important stuff that, you know, it's so weird that it was John Candy. Do you remember John Candy, Uncle Buck?
Yeah.
Died at 42.
Yeah.
What a fella he was. Like, his films.
Unbelievable.
But then you just smile. As soon as you think of him, you're smiling. And I think, you know, he bowed out at 42. I'm like, I'm 5 years off of that. And I'm like, wow, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be, oh, what more could he have done? You know? See, I know it's random to think of like comedians or film stars. Chris Farley, the same. But again, you know, these guys, they drunk as well, and they got on it and whatever else. But it's just like, I can't be unhealthy. Like, that's a non-negotiable now. I have to do this now, because when I get to 40, that's it. You ain't going to go to no old people's home and see any fat people. They're not there.
No.
They're not there. And the thing is as well, it's interesting. I've been, as I said, grown up, not being overweight, always been in shape and never had a problem with my weight. And then being overweight and being in a position where people are judgmental of you because of how you look, because of your weight, the way that they react to you, the lack of boundaries people have with weight, how sort of someone will look, oh, you put on weight. Or they're just like, there's literally no filter. And like, or someone will be next to you and they're like, because you're a bit bigger, they're making a problem out of it. I remember being on a plane coming back from somewhere, and I had my window seat. I always book it, extra legroom window seat. Yep. I know where I'm booking. I'm the travel expert, right? And then always try and leave the middle seat free so no one comes there. Anyway, people that don't pay the extra money to get their seat allocated will get put anywhere at the end, and if it's a busy flight, the irony is they get the extra legroom seat. So one woman come next to me in the middle seat, and like, she's kicking off and she's complaining, right?
In front of you, like openly.
Yeah, quite openly. And I went to her, well, if you were such a cheap bastard, you could have booked your seat somewhere else. But I know what's happened. You ain't booked your seat ahead of time. Now you're next to me. And because I am aware that I am big, I've sat myself here out of the way. That's your problem. Luckily, the geezer next to her said, look, I'll move in the middle. It's not a problem. I got talking to him. Ended up he was working in the music industry. It's funny.
Oh,
but yeah, just so I've been on both sides of it, and I just think like, yeah, it ain't a nice feeling being overweight.
Yeah. So what I want to know is, you said you were athletic all the way through school.
Yeah.
What point did you then realise that you were starting to put on weight? What was that turning point? Did something happen, or was it just a natural kind of progression?
Yeah, the first thing that really happened that changed it all was my mum and dad got divorced when I was a bit older, about 22, 23. Okay. And I moved out, like, I had to, because I had nowhere to go. So I moved in on my own first. And, you know, you're living at home, so it's takeaways, pizzas, crap. Do you know what I mean? That time there, I'm 23, and, you know, I'm a struggling musician, and you're just trying to get by and pay your rent and whatever else. So it's like, well, if Domino's are doing 2 for 2 on a Tuesday or whatever else, that's the cheap option. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cheap rubbish food.
Yeah.
So you're eating that, and then again, like, you know, using food as a bit of a comfort. Do you know what I mean? I've always comforted. Like, it's always been a thing. You know, I can eat my feelings 100%. So that's when it first happened, and that was the first time that, like, you know, and I've always been very open about my mental health struggles, that it got to a place where it was really spiraling out of control. And rather than drinking or doing whatever gear, whatever else, mine was like eating. And I'd just go home and just eat and go, oh, so what? You know what I mean? You become quite self-destructive with it. And so that was the first time, and I put on a lot of weight, and I was like, and then again for that period of time, come out the back of it, tried to get into a better place. And I remember I was playing Ultra in Miami in 2013 or 2012. So I'm not going on that main stage as a fat bastard. So I got back into shape then. So I was like, yeah.
Okay.
So I went down and I got to Miami, looked good, felt good, And then, just spirals of stuff and just not being able to get out of the spirals. That's what I kept doing. It was just up and down. And it was very sort of parallel to my mental health deteriorating. It's just a vicious cycle, really, because then when you start doing the exercise and that, your mental health's better. So it's just like, it's just all this. I was saying it the other day to someone, I said, you can be in a healthy cycle or an unhealthy cycle. The cycle will be there. So it's up to you to choose which cycle you want to go on.
And the vice is whatever that vice is for you. It's food. Some people it's coke. Some people it's ket. Whatever it is. It's different for everyone. But the thing is about food, the issue we've got about food, and I wouldn't say addiction, but if you're going to comfort eat, everyone has to eat. Not everyone has to just do course, right? You've got to eat to survive. So it's not like you can avoid it and like remove it from the equation. You have to eat. So
sugar's the most addictive drug on the planet.
Oh, that's the
it's
worst
just
one.
that it's not mentioned because you've got corporations like Coca-Cola and what have you, you know, that it obviously gets backdoored. But yeah, food, it's everywhere. It's everything. You know what I mean? We have food now. When we get off a train, we don't have one option, two options, three options. We have 15 different options just in Waterloo. And then when you get onto the high street, you know, and you get into the shops, all the sweets, all the chocolate bars, everything's always at the till in it.
Of course it is.
It's never got apples, pears. Imagine it had all the fruit and veg at the counter there.
It's there by design, isn't it, really? And like you said about sugar, you know, when you go on to, and I've done various different things in my journey of trying to do the weight loss thing, and this is why, you know, I'll come back to Project 365 in a sec, is like, you know, I did a juice fast for 48 days.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
48
days.
So what can you have then? Do you have electrolytes or do you have just juice?
Just juice. Just juice. 48 days.
I've done it for 10 days. That's the longest I've done, and it was like, wow.
So walk us through that then. What the fuck was that like?
So I was like making fresh juices every single day, and water. I think you can have black coffee, but I didn't drink coffee. So I just drink my juices every single day. You make them, and like in 48 days, I must have lost like 3.5 stone.
Jesus.
Quick, like, and like in fairness, obviously, you know, you're got fully of vitamins and stuff like that. It's just, again, it's not a long-term solution because as soon as you start eating again, it just sparks something in you.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, so I've done that kind of stuff, and you know, this is why the Project 365 is such a thing for me, because I'm not saying I'm going to do this in a quick period of time. I'm not saying I'm going to lose weight in 2 weeks, 2 months or 3 months, or even 6 months. I'm saying I'm giving myself a year to dedicate myself to a way of life, which is the training, the making better choices, eating. I've got, you know, like a diet plan. And the guy that I'm working with, Scott Francis, who, you know, he's helped Kerry Katona lose like 5 stone, and he worked with Gemma Collins and people like that, as well as just, you know, I think I first got introduced to him by one of my friends who'd lost a lot of weight, because I've been doing this Francis diet. I was like, all right, cool. And, you know, he gives you a meal plan that's, you know, down to the T of this is what you can eat. And it's not like, when I eat stuff, people are like, oh, you can't have that, you're on a diet. I'm like, this is the whole point. Everyone's got food so wrong. Like, you sit there, if you had a fry up in the morning, people go, that's so bad for you. I'm like, who's told you that's bad? For what reason? Like, it depends on what you've got in there and how it's cooked and stuff, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I eat stuff on there that I enjoy, you know, and even to the point of, and as I said to him, what we're going to have to do on this journey, because I travel and whatever else, we have to have options that, okay, if I walk into Nando's, I can eat Nando's.
Yeah, easy.
But just, okay, done a peri chips and 3 peronaises.
Exactly.
And a pita bread.
Exactly,
and a hummus.
yeah.
Like, just have the wrap.
Yeah.
You're all right. So again, it's such a distorted world. And as you said, there's a reason why it's distorted, because of companies and corporations and sugar. I remember growing up, it was always, the battle was against fat. Fat was always seen as the enemy, wasn't it? Fat-free. Everything's fat-free. But loaded with sugar.
Yeah. Slim fast.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
My wife's been doing keto for 7 weeks now, and it's all fat, it's high fat.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously it's quite extreme. It's only for a short period of time, and it's for a medical reason. But she's done it. She's lost about 5 kilos, and she's eaten high fat, decent protein, minimal carb. Because the carbohydrates are where we go wrong. It's all the processed carbohydrates.
Processed.
It's crap. It's like crisps and rice cakes and all that shit. Or, you know, really shit bread, all that stuff. And fat was there was a thing that happened. I can't remember how many years ago, but the sugar industry essentially.
Yeah, in the 50s.
In the 50s, they funded a campaign. We know that fucking triangle, that food triangle.
Yeah.
And they put like all the decent stuff like at the bottom and the shit stuff at the top, and it was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and it was all funded by.
Look at a Western diet: cereal with milk in the morning.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Sugar with milk.
Yeah, sugar with milk.
Yeah.
And it's kids getting it as well, isn't it?
White bread sandwich for lunch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
It is. You look at food and it's just we have a distorted vision of it.
The word diet as well. Do you know what that guy? This is Dream Hakeem, the guy we follow on Instagram.
Yeah,
that
Big
guy
Dream Hakeem. Yeah,
Big Dream Hakeem. We'll tag him in this. He talks about the word diet, and people listen to all these podcasts and stuff talk about diet, but diet really means eat normally.
Yeah.
Diet shouldn't be unnormal. Diet should be you just eating normal. You're just eating.
Or what's for you as well, because what Madge was saying there, I had the conversation with my wife about it recently, is a lot of people, and you can see it now, the go-to place, let's say Instagram, yeah, you can go on there, everybody's going, you can eat this, you can do this diet, or you can train like this, you can do that. And it's like, everybody's body's different and everybody's body absorbs food in different ways. Like, I can eat foods that don't impact my body weight, but yet my wife can eat them and she'll put weight on straight away.
Different.
So I don't think there's any. I think the diet thing needs to be, what is a eating routine that suits you?
Absolutely.
Forget anybody else. What suits you? And I like what Maggie's saying there, that he's open to doing Nando's and touring and getting about. And it's like sometimes we crucify ourselves. Oh, I can't have that, or I can't have this. It's just everything in balance.
And as soon as you make something off limits, it becomes a taboo.
Yeah.
And your mind's like, well, I want that.
I want that. Yeah.
It's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why it's nice to be able to go and sit in Nando's with my pals and still eat normally. Or, I've said to Scott, listen, the dads from football are going out for a curry on Wednesday. Like, I want to go. I don't want to just sit there. He goes, no, you don't have to sit there. Have the tandoori chicken grill. Do you know what I mean? Have the grilled food. Don't have the sauce.
Yeah.
Stay away from this, and this. You'll be fine. And he's like, and just that can be your meal for the evening rather than having the meal that you've got on the plan. Like, I think he did a video yesterday about being at McDonald's. He's like, okay, this is not optimal food. No, I would not recommend eating this 7 days a week. But if you're out with the kids and you want to sit there and be a family and eat your food, here's what you do. You buy the spicy chicken or whatever else, bin the bun or give it to someone you love, eat the chicken.
Yeah.
You're fine. He goes, and that's the way you can stay on plan and do stuff. So yeah, there are variables. And as you say, I think when things are too rigid and too strict, you're going to flop.
Yeah.
You're going to fall off. And that's what I noticed with me. And you'd crucify yourself. Oh, I binged yesterday. I'll do more tomorrow. I don't care. Like, you get out of the cycle. Whereas, like, even with this Project 365, there's been times like what we're in now, probably day 52. The missus has got some chocolate and I say, I've had a little nibble. Oh, shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to fess up to the gaffer as well. I'm like, oh, mate, I did have a bite of Emma's chocolate. He's like, come on, man, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I know. I was there. But, I'm human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Enjoying these things, it is. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to punish myself tomorrow in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself an extra 30 minutes on the cross trainer, So
What did a binge look like for you then before this?
You know what it is? It isn't. It's not even as like drastic as that. But it's the fact of being mindless with food. Now, I could finish the studio or whatever and go home and I want to chill out and play a bit of Call of Duty or something. Yeah. Going past M&S, you buy the biscuits. The really chocolatey ones. They're bad boy. The rings.
Yeah.
Buy some milk. I could sit there and just do the lot. I could eat the whole lot, one sitting,
easy.
drink, and that's easy. You speak to most people, go, eat, do it. You know what I mean? And you're so unconscious of that's what I talk about, being conscious of food.
Okay.
Now, like for example, today on a day out, so like you said, you come at the station, you see food. Like previously, I might have gone to Pret and gone, right, I'll have a sandwich. I also have a pan of raisin. Cool, bang, have my Diet Coke. Da-da-da. Then we might go Nando's afterwards, have the full works. And then you go home later on, the missus cook you dinner, and that's full works as well. And all of a sudden, you're at 3,000 calories without even thinking about it and even thinking that badly. It's not like you've gone to Pizza Hut and had 4 pizzas.
Okay, all right.
It's just like...
It's spread out. It's not like you go to the shop and buy a load of shit and just go, right, I'm going to hammer all this. It's just... And you don't realise because it's all kind of spread out.
Yeah, and it's very easily the way it can creep up. And the same way of like touring and travelling, you know, when you're going to these places and you see a promoter that you've not seen in a year and a half and you're friends with them, let's go for dinner, and they want to do the full works.
Steak, cocktails, and all that.
Be all right with the steak, but it's like, it's not just the steak, is it? It's like, do you want an afters? Yeah, cool, I'll have an hour. And then, you know, then you're in a hotel later on, you're hungry, like, I'll have some room service. Like, or
3 in the morning or whatever.
The mini bar, and you got crisps and chocolate in there. Yeah. It's just so easy to do.
Once you get on that slide, it's very easy.
Well, this is the thing, the lifestyle that you've got in terms of the travelling. You know, if you're an artist and you're travelling, you're going to clubs, you also aeroplane food. Aeroplane food, airport food. You haven't got a choice. You're stuck in this fucking building. You have to get what they're offering you, and it's usually bullshit.
Yeah.
It usually is. But if you go look for it, you can find the alternative. Even if you go to Mackey's, like you said, you can take the bun off and fuck that off. So it's about the willpower
and the choice.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, it's like being on those planes, just sheerly out of boredom, they come round. Do you want anything? You're like, go on then, I'll have some Pringles. And then they're like, I'll have a chocolate as well. And they only do the big bag of Maltesers, and you're like, all right, give me the Maltesers, I'll share them with Will. Like, and you're there, and all of a sudden you're just watching a film, and you've just done a bag of Maltesers, like a share bag.
Easy job.
It's so easily done, and you're like, oh no, I'm going for dinner when we land. Like,
it's the sugar. But the sugar and the carbs, they make you feel like you're more hungry.
Yeah.
It's a thing. If you go, a lot of people who do this meat carnivore thing, meat is so satiating that you can't overeat meat, really. Not like you can like bags of crisps. I can go and get that big bag of sweet chili Walkers, have a big bag of M&Ms, and I don't feel full.
No.
Easy. And I probably put away fucking 1,200 calories.
You feel shit. Yeah, you feel satisfied. When I've been having steak recently in Ibiza with Mish, I've been getting like a sirloin steak, grilling it in butter, garlic butter, and having vegetables, so like asparagus, peppers, red onions, and having that. And when you eat it afterwards, the satisfaction that you get in this area, you just you've had a really good nutritious meal. But when I'm having chocolate, the dopamine hits in the brain. I'm buzzing like eating it, but I can't stop eating it because it's the sugar going in, and the brain's going, give me more of that, give me more, and I'm going, give me more of that. And like you said, when I was a kid, it was like you got a small packet of Maltesers or a Mars bar that used to feel like it was that big. Now they're that big, but everything's grab bag, man.
Oh yeah, they have it on there, grab bag,
literally like this. And kids are having that.
I don't understand why they just don't bring that into law. Like, I know because it says on there, it's like, and it has the resealable little.
That ain't happening.
Resealing it, bruv. Like the Ben and Jerry's. I'm not rich to shut the Ben and Jerry's. The whole thing's going.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why they do now. Like, I don't know if you've seen those ice creams like Halo and that 300 calories for the whole thing. And
I'll have the whole thing then.
Yeah, that's fine. But that's even like, as I said, Scott says to me, he's like, you know, if you're going to go and binge or whatever or have that, then there's the alternative.
Yes.
Make sure you have the alternative.
Yeah.
And that's like what you have to do.
Yeah. So walk us through a day then. So you've got 365 days, a whole year. What does your daily routine look like now?
So the first thing we always trying to work out is at what part of the day we're going to train. Okay. I'm lucky because Will from Beyond Chicago, who I manage as well, he's moved down from Leicester.
Okay.
And he's like my training partner. And having someone there for me is very important. I've got ADHD, and body doubling is a big thing for people with ADHD. Like my son's blatantly got it as well. He likes to have mum around. Watch me, mum.
Yeah.
Be with me, mum. Like, and he can't do it on his own. Like, I need someone there. I'm the same. If I had to train on my own every day, I wouldn't do it. So we go there, and it makes you competitive as well. I like being competitive, especially, you know, Will's a young 23-year-old lad, and he's just like, well, I'll beat him. Do you know what I mean? You have to. Like, it's good. Healthy competition. And so we train. Good thing is I'm training at David Lloyd's in Enfield. And they got an amazing spa as well. And see, the recovery side of things is so important.
Are you hitting the plunge and stuff?
Mate, cold plunge. I'm addicted to the cold plunge. And again, people have their different views on that. So I've had someone say about it stunts muscle growth. And I'm like, but what it adds to me for recovery allows me to go back in the gym the next day. And at the moment where I'm at, that weight loss and being active every day is more important. It's the same way people see a Diet Coke and go, Diet Coke, that's bad. But that's a lesser of two evils. It's like, if I drink that and it gives me a sweet sort of sensation and I'm not going to go and binge on a load of crap, eventually, once we're on the Project 365 and you lose 10 stone, maybe start thinking about that's the next stage. You've got to do things by stages.
100%. Bite-sized chunks.
100%.
No pun intended, bite-sized chunks. But also, there's no solutions, only trade-offs, right? So you can't win everything. Like, for example, this for example, if you're going to have a Diet Coke instead of a normal Coke, There's still shit in this. You've got aspartame and all that stuff that people say helped with bad for Alzheimer's and stuff, but I'm not having 40 grams of sugar. So there's no solutions, only trade-offs. And you've got to work through that. And you can't come into this Project 365 and go, I'm going to stop everything bad. I'm going to just eat organic food. And you'll just fuck it off. You'll fuck it off. You have to have some of those things where it kind of suppresses those urges.
Absolutely.
Right? So you train, because obviously, again, comes back to your schedule, which is one of the things I wanted to mention, is that you have the maddest schedule. You've got all these projects. You've got TalkSport. You're doing the boxing stuff. You're touring as well as an artist. You're doing all these things. Project 365. Your energy levels, have they changed since starting this project?
I think mental clarity is 100%. Like, I'm able to sort of deal with stressful situations a lot better, and just going, all right, cool. With the Project 365, I really just feel like I've gone into this sort of like almost robotic mode of like just focus, and I'm like, right, this is what I'm doing now. And that is, again, one of the superpowers of ADHD is when you hone in on something, it's like a superpower. You're like, well, I'm just doing this. This is me now. This is why I got good at music, because I was like, this is what I do. You know, I'm good at this. This is what I should do. That's it. I don't care about anything else. I'm going to do this. So to change that energy towards being healthy and being fit is such a positive. And like, you know, even yesterday, I did, we trained in the morning. I got a Spurs podcast as well as everything else.
So many things.
So I did my Spurs podcast with Gaza, who I do, not Paul Gascoigne, but my mate Gaza. And afterwards I sat there, I was like, I'm in this weird place. I've kind of got energy. I said to Will, should we go and do another session? He's like, yeah, cool. So we went back to the gym, did more arms, and then had another spa. And I was like, which was really nice, because the recovery, like the steam room, the sauna, just brings me sort of this zen peace, which I really enjoy. So, I'm lucky. I've got a very, very supportive wife. I've been with Emma for like 20 years. So since we were 17. So, you know, we've got 2 kids. You know, it's a disservice to women when people say she doesn't work. My missus, is an incredible mum. And that job there in itself, I wouldn't swap what I do. Her job is harder than what I do. You know, to be there every day doing stuff for them, keeping the house, school run, has to be on top. You know, that I always say. I think the society hasn't placed enough value on that over the years. And I think, you know, I'm all for, you know, women being independent, doing their thing, working, and if they got a career. And I said it to my missus when she was like coming out, well, if you want to work and you want to go back to work, absolutely. But I said financially, it doesn't make sense for us. You might as well be here looking after the kids and let us raise our children the way that we want to. So, yeah, I just think that there, I place a lot of value on that, and it allows me to do this. But again, she understands that the better I become, the longer I'm going to be about for our family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than just going, it was, you know, with my weight and stuff, it was just going one way. It was only going to get worse. So I had to go, right, now I'm stopping it.
Yeah. That was my next question, actually, because this has obviously added another time constraint to your schedule, right? You're now training, you go in the spa. That must take an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're going to go and do another session, that's another hour and a half.
Yeah.
So she's obviously been supportive through that, and she knows you're going to be doing that for a whole year. That's incredible.
Yeah, very much so. But again, it's just trying to find the right times. Like the other day, I know I had a busy day in London, so we went and trained at 6 a.m. Got it out of the way. I was home, went on the school run with them and the kids, was back, went into London, did my thing, came back, you know. So it's just about, even today, me and Will last night, I think we got back to mine about 11:30. Yeah. We said, right, let's work out tomorrow. Got to get into London for the podcast. We was going to get up today at 6 and train, but I said, you know what, we just done 2 sessions, need to rest.
Yesterday you did too?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
So I said, let's sleep and then we'll train later tonight.
Yeah.
So today I've got one eye on training. I know I've got to do my kids dance show, got me in, and I've got to train. So it's just like, just knowing to have to get that in every day.
Yeah.
And being adaptable as well. You know, 100%. It's a wise move that he's done there. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy. Like we were saying before, if you get OTT with stuff, and again, having ADHD as well, you can get like that.
Yeah.
You can get pretty intense with it. It's
really?
like, no, I've got to go. And he's like, hang on a second. Let's just take it easy and then we'll go to it tonight. You know, it's a wise move.
It has to be day by day. And, you know, this is why the Project 365 thing, you know, every day that goes by, it's like, right, it's another day ticked off. Well done, cool. And if you have a bad day for whatever reason, it doesn't go your way, you're like, right, I can improve that tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's the way to do it. And being realistic with those targets and stuff. I think Friday will be week 8. and we're already past the 2 stone mark. I've done 2 stone, £2 in 7 weeks.
Yes, mate, that's amazing.
So it's like we're on a good place and a good trajectory, and I'm not even playing football yet. So when I lost 4 stone in 4 months with Scott before, and that was during lockdown. And again, like you said about that ADHD focus, that actually done me over last time, because when Boris shut the gyms, I went mad.
Yeah.
I went mad, brother. I'm like, you prick. Like, I'm on a roll. Because I was getting up every morning at 6 and doing HIIT classes with my mate Peter, smashing it, playing football 3 times a week. And then he shut the gyms, and I'm like, I can't do anything, you bastard. Like, I was so angry that I actually put weight on, because I was like, I can't do anything.
Do you do anything at home? Do you try and do anything like HIIT classes?
No, because again, it ruined my flow. I was in the flow.
When the flow gets interrupted, it's a hard one.
It's like, but no, I'm supposed to be a hit beat. It's not the same out there. I won't get the same exercise. And I'm particular, even like if the trainer changes, I'm like, no, I want the trainer. Where's Leon? I want Leon, you know? So, it can really sort of do your head in. So that's why, like, again, being adaptable is very important on the journey. So I injured my knee. I've had a bad knee for years, football. And in the summer, randomly, we always used to play Power League on a Thursday night, came back from Ibiza, did the toilets in high, stayed up all night, and come home, didn't sleep, played football. So I think fatigue definitely didn't help.
Yeah.
Last knockings of the game, I've literally rolled the ball to my keeper and I've gone over on my knee and went the wrong way on it. I was in A&E that night. I was in agony, so I dug my knee in. So I was like, I'd normally be playing football 3 times a week as well on top of this. So my weight loss would be even quicker. But so I'm just, again, even with that, take my time, got an MRI scan, found out what's wrong, working with a physio, and I'm not rushing back. Everyone's like, when are you playing again? I'm like, not till the new year, at least. So... But once that's back in as well, that will help with things massively.
100%. Well, this long process that you've kind of it's by design. You're not saying it's, in this culture that we're in, it's always like lose 10 kilos in 3 months and all this like really short. Everyone wants everything now, right? It's instant gratification. And the fact that you've not dragged this out, but you are dragging it out physically for 365 days just shows people that it doesn't have to happen overnight. Nothing. And also, nothing happens overnight.
No.
That's it. Everything takes time. You need to have patience with everything. So I think it's great what you're doing, mate. And I'm really excited to see where you go with it. I don't know if you've got any goals for it. Like, have you got numbers you want to hit?
No, I'm not really going to see numbers because that makes it disappointing. When whatever happens is a win.
Yeah.
The fact I'm doing it is a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's only wins to be had. And it's like, if I was to not hit the number that I say, then all of a sudden at the end of it, I'm like, I failed. But I haven't failed because I'm doing it. It's the same way with and that's the thing with Project 365 when I explain to people, people message me, go, you should do Monjaro, you should do Ozempic. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's not what this is.
People message you that?
All the time.
Really?
One a day.
Just fucking again. It's a fast track.
It's the short circuit stuff.
It's the new thing.
And doing something for this, not for the sake of doing it. It's like we live in a world where there's a guy in Miami with a Lamborghini and a Rolex with no top on, with abs going, do you know why you're lazy? Do you know why you've got put weight on? It's because you sit at home and you don't do anything. You know why I've got a Rolex and a Lamborghini and blah, blah. There's so many people out there now telling other people how to live or how to be. I love Magic's approach.
Yeah,
That's it.
I do.
What works for you.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's more sustainable, and longevity is more likely if you're doing it in a manner where you're comfortable, you're adaptable, and you're not taking it too seriously, and you're not giving yourself a hard time. You're being compassionate with yourself and the process. It's wicked. Yeah, really good.
Like I said, you see it. When you set yourself up to fail in life, it's only going to have just disappointment.
Yeah.
You see it all the time with, like you said, because it is it all started with like the X Factor, didn't it? Really, that's where this all comes from, really and truly.
Do you reckon that's the inception?
Yeah, it's the inception. Instant fame.
Yeah, I suppose.
Big Brother, so 2000 the millennium, the Big Brother thing, and then Craig coming out being successful, and even then, those Big Brother ones didn't hit the heights of some other people that they did. But you think even Alison Hammond was in Big Brother, wasn't she? She's on the TV now.
I want to be on Geordie Shore. When Geordie Shore came out, I was like, I want to be on there because I'll be famous straight away.
Yeah.
And then everyone will love us and I'll get loads of money and I'll get loads of cars and all that fucking shit.
Yeah.
Which
it's crazy, but like now even, I'm a celebrity, get me out of it. I hear names and I'm like, and who are they? And that's not even a disrespect to them.
I know.
It's like, and then I look at it because they're like, you don't know who Moira Higgins is? I'm like, she looks fantastic. I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, she was on Love Island. I'm like, okay, if you don't watch that, what am I supposed to know about this person? You know what I mean? It's just like...
And now you've got TikTok, where everyone wants to be famous off one TikTok.
Well, GK Barry's and I'm a celebrity. And I'm like, huh? It's a TikToker. Like, what? Like, and again, as I said, it just, even bringing it back to our game with the DJing thing and that, man, it's like, it's in a place that's unrecognisable to me to the point of I dislike it.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean?
It's like everybody wants to be a DJ now. I'm like, where were you when I was doing a paper round for $13.50 a week trying to buy vinyls? You weren't there. Yeah. You don't care. Like, if you cared, you would have been there. No, it seems like an easy route into something. That's what it is. And the thing is, people are being given and gifted opportunities to be on places that they shouldn't be too early. And it's like, I've seen it happen and I've seen them crumble. And then like people going, I was not there for it. It's their first time. But don't give them their first time at a main stage festival.
Because you've got 200,000 followers, so...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You ain't done your 10,000 hours.
100%.
And it's like, if I'm going to go on a plane tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Steve. Actually, he plays the pilot game on Microsoft. He's got 750,000 TikTok followers. He'll be flying you today. You'll be like, can I have Derek, please? Can I have Derek, who's done his 10,000 hours?
100%. 100%. Same with anything.
Oh, it's only fair.
Yeah.
It's only fair. It's fair. He should have a go. Why?
Yeah, it is.
No.
You put bums on seats. If you sell tickets, you got the slot. And I've said this before. You have this huge rise where you've got these people who've got one hit video on TikTok and then they put everywhere and they've got an agent who just wants to, they're a cash cow, and then all of a sudden this huge drop off. How do you follow that up? It's impossible. You can't do it. So I understand where you're coming from. I didn't know what angle you were coming at with the music industry thing, but I completely agree.
I'm even to the point I was just going through clips on the way up here and thinking just the dancing behind the decks and all that kind of stuff. I grew up when DJs were cool, like EZ's head bop, like, yeah, look at him, he's the Don. Yeah. Like, people are doing actually like the YMCA and the Macarena behind the decks now, and I'm like, when I'm mixing, like, because I'm actually a DJ, and I'm going to try and mix on 3 decks and do something mad. You're going to get my concentration face, so, like, do you know what I mean? Because I'm doing something. It's just, it just winds me up now. I'm just like, this isn't what I got into. It's not what I loved, and even trying to have a USP now because everyone can get the same tunes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like you can... I remember speaking to DJ Luck from Luck and Neat, and, his record, A Little Bit of Luck, top 10 record, it was in 99. Yeah, so you're thinking the numbers that would have done. That was an intro tune. He only made that as an intro for his sets. And people used to travel from South London to north to east, west to south to watch him play his intro.
Yeah.
How sick is that?
Mental.
That is what this should be.
That's cool.
That is so like, have you heard his intro?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch him for that.
Yeah.
Now, like you say, like Fish Octagon, I love Fish Octagon, by the way. I think he's brilliant. And his content's been great, yeah?
Great.
And he knows his onions. And he's invested in doing this. So I don't have any problem with what he's doing. Yeah. But what I do have a problem with is the audience looking at him like he is this first person to do multi-genre sets. It's like, no, lots of people have done that before. In actual fact, have been punished for it. You know what I mean? Right. I've been told many times, I don't know where do we place you, Madge? You come from garage, you play house, you've done drum and bass, you've been involved in all these different scenes, and I've been like bastardized for it, and now someone's being celebrated for it because they've got clout.
Well, it's because he's new.
And the numbers.
And the numbers.
It's the numbers.
It's exactly what it is.
He's hot right now.
But the hotness doesn't matter as long as if it's not backed up by numbers.
Okay.
And he's backed up by numbers because he's absolutely smashed it. But you see these kids in the crowd, and they're there because they've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they feel like it must be big. I've seen it. Yeah. So that's how they judge stuff now. They don't go into things with an open mind going, like I used to when I used to go and watch bands or whatever, and you'd go before the main event because I'm going to see the support artist. So I got to most bands. I'm a big Muse fan, and I remember going to see Muse at Earls Court. The Editors were their support band at the time. Became an Editors fan. The Zootons another time became a Zootons fan after going to see them. I just think this idea of this 15-second dopamine hit, and if I don't know it, I'm not interested, is a big problem.
It's even less. It's like, if I scroll, I'll be honest, I scroll, and sometimes I'm not interested in under a second.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Bang, 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 bang.
But again, because it's giving you too much information. Rather than being on a platform of the stuff you want to see. Like when I used to belong to a forum back in the day, Uptown Records Forum. I care about music, so I'm in the right place. So I can scroll through the different places. When I'm on TikTok, it will give you something so random. Like, why am I seeing this?
Yeah.
So there is something to be said. Like you're in your right to go, I don't want this. This is rubbish.
Yeah. But
that's just the way that the algorithm's feeding us stuff, and it's a very dangerous place to be in. I'm even just looking at some of the lineups and the way that they're constructed, and you're just like, what are they based on? I don't know what the metrics are anymore.
I've seen that as well. You look at the lineups, you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
And also where they're placed, they're completely different artists, like completely different. It doesn't make any sense. And they're booking them because they get people through the door.
Well, I mean, IMS last year for me, without judging, but obviously I'm into music. I've been into music since I was 19, 20, house music. But it was Marshall Jefferson and Ida Endenberg going back to back. And it was like...
You have Diplo going back to back with Damien Larris.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I just don't understand. But is this the reason why you've stepped back on the gigs?
The reason I stepped back on the gigs is like, say for example, I used to do a lot of student gigs. I did a lot of student gigs because I enjoyed them. I played a few student gigs. I thought, I'm not playing to these people.
Really?
No.
But just like what, dead crowd?
Just dead crowd. I'm like, this is rubbish. And I'm like, I DJ because I enjoy it. The time I got to a point, I'm like, I'm going to a gig and I'm just thinking about, I'm getting paid, I'm going home.
Yeah, that's awful. Because it's your passion. That Bob Sinclair video, he put that video out and he was like, guys, I've got to do a video. Do you see that Bob Sinclair clip? And he's just like...
I was actually shocked because not from a judgmental point, but well, yeah, you could say it is, because I just always seen him as a DJ that really enjoyed the camera phones. Like Guetta, he went on the mic in high and went, some DJs are saying no mobile phones, but we fucking want mobile phones. I thought Bob Sinclair was kind of in that bracket, but he was pretty open about the experience that he had. It was in Mykonos or somewhere like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I just remember seeing it and going, he's openly gone and he's gone out of his way to tell people how disappointed he was. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do that sort of gig anymore. It's sad. Anyway, let's leave it on a better note. Before we wrap up, Madge, is anything you want to plug, anything got coming up? Apart from, by the way, I just want to say from a personal point of view, I think what you're doing with Project 365 is amazing. I hope it's an inspiration to other people out there who are potentially maybe thinking about making that move to better their health and just to better their life. And I think if people haven't seen this, fucking go on Majestic's page, watch it, because it's a daily thing. I love the updates, I love the stories, and I'm going to come train with you at some point as well.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, let's do it.
I love having people come to train with us. It's always fun. We've had a few special guests on the vlog so far.
Yeah, nice.
And it's just like I said, in terms of like, just look, Majestic online, just across all the socials is where you can see me plate spin. Across various different things, and it's all, if you see me doing it, it means I love it. And that's the key thing for me. It doesn't matter what it is. If I'm doing something, it means I love it. I only do things I love.
Good.
Yeah, a quick one as well, Madge. I was going to ask you before we leave, we'll squeeze it in. I seen that clip on Insta, actually. You were in the radio, I think, BBC radios, and it was with Eddie Hearn was there, and he was introducing you and Roger Sanchez.
Kiss.
And Roger you didn't even flinch. No. You just stone cold stood there like that. And I was like, Roger must be wounded because he went like that.
He went for it, and I just looked at the S-man. I was like,
you're going down.
I'm here. No, I love Roger. He's a big man. I'll tell you what, that'd be a heavyweight battle. That one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to get into it.
No, definitely not. Right, well, we have a feature on the show where the previous guest leaves a book for the next guest, not know who it is. So the previous guest for this show is Sam Devine.
Okay.
And we couldn't get hold of the book. It's quite a
niche book.
It's a niche book, but it's called, you might have read it, Marching Powder. And it's about... I wish you had the fucking book so it makes more sense.
Ain't that the name of Danny Dyer's new film?
Yeah, it is.
It is. All right. So it's about a drug smuggler who gets put in a Bolivian prison. There's a cat in the prison that's addicted to crack. And the guy gives tours of it's a guy who
the crack cat.
The crack cat.
Like the crack fox.
This guy gives tours of the prison and you can buy gear in there. Madness. So that's from Sam Devine.
Oh wow.
I was going to send you it in the post next week. But yeah, Madge, thanks again for coming down. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for being open and vulnerable and telling us about some difficult things about there, your mental health and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's important for us, especially as men, to talk about these things openly. And I really appreciate you doing that today.
Yeah, and more importantly, how you're managing and handling it all. Really 100%. Inspiring.
Yeah,
Wicked.
we're trying.
Yeah.
Good man.
Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks, everyone.
Big love. Thank you.
Okay.